The papaya plant has unisexual flowers. That is, it either has the female reproductive parts or it has the male reproductive parts. So self-pollination is not possible. So these plants have to depend on cross-pollination for reproduction. Now what about bisexual flowers? See, the anthers burst open and transfers the pollen grains to the stigma. Now, this is a hibiscus or a China rose flower. Now notice, even this flower is a bisexual flower. That is, it has both the male parts as well as female parts in it. But autogamy is not possible because the anthers are situated much below the stigma. So transfer is not possible. So self-pollination can take place, but it cannot be autogamy. These flowers have to depend on geitonogamy, which is marriage between neighbors. That is, pollen grains transferred from a different flower to the stigma of this flower, and both these flowers should be on the same plant. And another way of pollination is cross-pollination. That is, transfer of pollen grains to the stigma of different flowers present on different plants. Now look at these flowers. Both of them are datura flowers. But look at this flower. See, the anthers are situated much below the stigma. And in this flower, see, the anthers are situated much above the stigma. Well, there is a difference in the relative position of the stigma and the anthers. And this is brought about by the difference in the length of the style and the filaments. This condition is known as heterostyly, where hetero means different length and styly comes from the word style. Now see, the anther is placed below the stigma. So in this case, even though the flower is bisexual, self-pollination cannot take place. So such flowers have to depend on cross-pollination for reproduction. Now both of these are balloon flowers. Now notice this flower. You will see that the stamens have matured, but the carpel is not matured yet. After a few days, say 1 or 2 days, the same flower looks like this. Now see, the carpel has matured, but by the time the carpels have matured, the stamens are dead. This condition, where the male reproductive part or the stamens mature before the female reproductive parts or the carpels, is known as protoandry, where prot means before and andry comes from the Greek word andros, meaning man. Since the stamens mature before the carpels, in spite of these flowers being bisexual, self-pollination cannot take place. So cross-pollination is the only way of pollination for these flowers. Now notice these pipevine flowers. In the pipevine flowers, the female reproductive part or the carpels mature first. See, this is the carpel. It is all opened up, but by the time the carpel is dead, the anthers mature. So initially, the female reproductive parts mature first. During that time, the male reproductive parts are immature. And by the time the male reproductive part matures, the female reproductive part is already dead. So self-pollination is not possible in these flowers. This condition, where the female reproductive part or the carpels mature before the male reproductive part or the stamens, is known as protogyny, where proto means before and gyne means a woman. So in spite of these flowers being bisexual in nature, self-pollination cannot take place. So they have to depend on cross-pollination for reproduction. So this process, where stamens mature before carpels or carpel matures before stamens, is known as dichogamy. This is a pansy flower. Now see, in a pansy flower, the stamen is covered by the stigma. So self-pollination is not possible because the stigma covers the stamen. So these flowers have to depend on cross-pollination for reproduction. And this type of cross-pollination is known as hercogamy. Herco means barrier and gamy means marriage. So what do you think? What type of pollination will take place in this flower? Yes, it is a bisexual flower. And what are the other characteristics that you can see? Well, yes, the stamen and the carpels, this is the carpel and these are the stamens. They are all of equal length. They have matured at the same time. It is not that when the anthers have matured, these are immature or dead. So both the female and the male reproductive parts mature at the same time, and there are no barriers formed. So yes, self-pollination will take place in this bisexual flower.